Hey guys, Mark here, bringing you another Nintendo Box video, and the topic for today's video may well be a little controversial, and you may well not agree with the things I say in this video, in which case that's awesome, that's fine, leave it in the comment section down below, and equally if you do agree then leave it in the comment section down below, and I'd love to have a discussion about it with you all. So let's get into it, and this video is about Comcept, which is Keiji Inafune, who used to be the main guy behind Mega Man. It's his development team and his company. And as you may well know, he is currently developing the soon-to-be released game Mighty No. 9, and recently they've also announced Red Ash. The problem with this company and these games don't actually lie in the games themselves, rather how the company's handled the announcement and then development of these games. So my first problem is that Mighty No. 9 got a lot of funding on Kickstarter. This was the game that really started this boom of spiritual successors, which we've seen carry on very recently with things like Bloodstained and Ukulele, with Shenmue 3 being a very similar thing while not a spiritual successor. And after this, the company actually had the nerve to ask fans for even more money through a separate crowdfunding format. So I don't see why, although it got more than quadruple the amount that they initially wanted for that initial goal, that they actually thought that it would be a good idea to rely on fans even more and ask for more money to make their game. And that wasn't even why they were asking for the money particularly. They already had enough money to make the game, and that was even cemented further seeing as they have Deep Silver now, who's publishing the game at retail. So that was a big problem for me, and I thought that it was a bit of a dodgy dealing, to be honest. But this crowdfunding, this second crowdfunding, was actually for the animated series, which we have seen a trailer for, and it looks okay. You know, it looks like a normal kind of average animated series that you'd see for kids, and that's fine by me, and maybe I'll give it a watch, but it's nothing big for me. That doesn't particularly annoy me, but what does annoy me is really the live action movie, because it just doesn't make any sense, and if you combine that and the animated series, it seems like Inafune and Comcept as a whole are just getting a bit arrogant. Sure, they had a really good Kickstarter project, and congrats to them for that, that's really awesome, but this is not Mega Man, Beck is not Mega Man, and you haven't even brought the game out yet. The game has been in development for ages now, and it's not time yet to be branching out and going into other forms of media. Bring out a solid game first, a game that will please fans of Mega Man and create a following for Mighty No. 9 before you try and milk the IP, and before you try and make these other forms of media with the IP. It just doesn't make sense to me. There is also the fact that the Kickstarter for Red Ash just seems a bit extortionate, to be honest. It seems a bit much, because there are two Kickstarters, not just one. One for the anime and one for the game. And that's fine and everything if they were reasonable enough, but they arguably are not reasonable, because the initial goal for funding for the anime is $150,000, which is quite a lot of money still. It's not that much for like what you'd class as a AAA Kickstarter, but nevertheless that will provide a 5-minute anime short, so that's $150,000 of funding for 5 minutes of anime, which just doesn't seem like anywhere near enough to me. And also the Kickstarter for the game itself is $800,000 for a game which frankly it doesn't seem like it will be in a complete form, because there's other things that they want to add with stretch goals, and now of course that can be added extra stuff and it can be a complete game without it if you reach the normal goal. But also it's only coming to PC if it reaches that initial goal, with a mention of Xbox One and PS4 stretch goals being after some others, which don't seem like they'd pull in as many people anyway, which seems really odd to me. And also the Wii U or NX aren't mentioned anywhere on that, So that's pretty much not a possibility that they come into either. And it shows with how popular these Kickstarters are. They're by no means going to fail, but they're nowhere near as popular as Mighty No. 9 was. And that's quite simply because the more you do Kickstarters like this, the less the novelty is there and the less people are wanting to do it. And sure, Red Ash is a spiritual successor to Mega Man Legends, so maybe it doesn't have quite as much of a following as, you know, classic Mega Man. But still, it just seems like Comcept are too reliant on their fans paying for everything. I think that they should have waited until Mighty No. 9 was out, then shown it off, because they will earn a lot of money from Mighty No. 9, that is undoubtable at this point. So maybe they could have used that money to put into the development of Red Ash, and, you know, paid for it themselves and brought a game out to fans on multiple platforms which would have really pleased everyone. And that would have just been the way to go for me, in my opinion, because that's what a lot of game studios do. That's what you see people like Way Forward do with games like Shantae and the Pirates Curse, and I totally respect them for that. Sure, they can do Kickstarter as well with the other Shantae game, which is yet to be released, but they actually do some games off their own back. And the only game that you could say that Comcept has done up to this point off their own back is Recall, but that doesn't really count either, because I imagine Microsoft are taking most of the bills for that, with it being a Microsoft exclusive on Xbox. So that's me, and that's my opinion on this matter. I want to know your opinion, so please comment that down in the section below. I hope that I haven't been too negative in this video. I know it's been a bit more negative, but it was something that was on my mind, and I just thought it was a really interesting topic to talk about. So if you liked this video, please like it and also subscribe. There should be another episode of Nintendo No this Sunday. Bye bye.